Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. I'm hoping I'm not here for very long, but there's so much to cover. And my apologies for not pre announcing this. But I've just, real life happens. And so my schedule is just cramped like everybody else's. So I'm just coming up and I'll leave this here for anyone who happens to be interested in this new, just I'd say another deliberate scandal, and I'll go over the absolute proof that the just vile display at the White House. Not that I don't know about all the hidden vile displays at the White House that have been publicized with, I think it was the Franklin Boys Club, something with Franklin in there, where there were a lot of White House pages who were coming from the Boys Town and were shanghaied over to the White House. And a lot of people in helicopters who had proof of that matter died suddenly. And there's been so many different sexual scandals directly connected to people in positions of so-called power. They really have absolutely no power whatsoever. The only power there is to submit to the one and the only, fear no man, fear only Allah. Now, that said, the latest one, I have to repeat it, they have to pull out all the stops so that you don't take what we really need to do, which is to separate seriously. And peace, dear sister Drea Lay. How you doing, Queen? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lit up crazy white people news for this. I hear that. I wasn't going to talk about this, but there's another undercurrent going on that this is there to shout louder than. And that is 100% in keeping with what I do share. And so let me go on over to that portion of it right away because I don't like to, waste people's time with just sort of silly. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sharing my screen. I got to share the screen first. Otherwise, you can't see what the heck I'm talking about. And I've done that before. And that is just always so annoying. No, if I hear it, prefer to hear from you. I appreciate that, Queen. I prefer to hear the real news from us also, 100%. Unfortunately, all of the salacious stuff has gotten most of us in tow. And unfortunately, I remain the only one going over the horror of man-made radiation, which is not a historical uh just sort of replay on my part. I'm not going over stuff that happened 20 years ago. I'm going over what they're doing right now in terms of them shipping Fukushima food in terms of the Canadian wildfires, which all got set at the same exact time over a wide expanse of forestry. So that is something deliberate. And I see beautiful black people out there. And I don't know if there's any white people talking about, because I pretty much every single white person has burned the bridge to my ability to pay attention to them, pretty much so. Um, but they've been saying it's the unidentified flying objects. They're using that as another smoke screen. They're talking about everything ludicrous, but they never mention man-made radiation. How the hell is that possible? How's that possible? That's not possible because that is the strategy. That's the battle. That's what they need, that stuff to just take us out. And there are cures and remedies. So this is what they're hiding when it comes to the boob thing, but I'm going to go over more the boob thing, where these dudes are saying, the dude who did that in front of the White House is saying, you got to free the nipple. But let me get to this. Like a freight train, Biden admin to send depleted uranium rounds to Ukraine. Report. This is happening just about, I think, the same day as that just despicable, very well planned, just like January 6th or June, whatever it was, where they were supposedly, because Trump, they had the break in at the Capitol building. That was so friggin' scripted. It's just to be beyond. I never did a share about that whatsoever because it wasn't the connection. It's obvious, but at the same time, most of us really didn't care. We really don't care about this either because we know, just like you were saying, Sister Drea, what the white press is all about, the white people are all about at this point. Brother Yapo left the links on my share going over Muhammad Ali's grandson, whatever his name is. He white, and the links went to a story of this black like man who's selling just donated body parts to whomever wants to buy them, including this one Kate's creepy doll, something. It's just creepy dolls, where she literally is using human body parts is part of her dolls, and they were meant to look a little cute, but at the same time, they're all creepy. They're fixated on ghoulishness. I'm not saying every single white person is, but there's more than enough. From the over a year I spent just watching one murder documentary after another until my soul told me in a dream, please stop. You ain't got that kind of soul. You're not enjoying that sort of stuff. Please stop. And I promptly stopped. I haven't watched a single one at all. I haven't unsubscribed from the channels, but at the same time, I recognize when my inner sanctum is just done. It's something is too painful to watch. I thought that I was immune because it's white on white crime. I mean, generations, centuries of the most ghoulish white on white crime as we have never, ever, ever committed. And then they don't even go over what they did to black us and all their wars. It always gets dropped in the consideration of humanity, the fact that these people never stop warring, right? So it's just what they do and how they do it. They're for us to adhere so fiercely to them, they had to sell us the narrative that they're just perfect. And that somehow or another, by close proximity, by integration, which gives them the ability to watch us better and also nullifies for them our ability to just separate and be feeling strong in doing that. Usually, when you leave your parents' home, you hope to do so with your own new apartment, and you got some money in the bank in case of emergencies. You got your own car, maybe you've gone to college, you're settled, right? But with these dudes, they don't want us to go at all. They want to use all of that comfort that we have been taught by them to think can only come from them, so that when the separation is obvious, we must do it. We have this false notion of their perfection. We have this indoctrinated, brainwash notion of how bad black us are, which is thoroughly full of agent provocateur malarkey. And so that when anyone puts the point of separation up before us, we're like, well, how can we do that? That's so racist. Not my good white friends. If you brought up to them the fact that we are just different people, We have less in common than Norway and Denmark had in common. Yet Norway and Denmark recognized because geographically they had become two separate people just simply based on the topography of their different land settings, that they were no longer one nation. They were two separate nations, and they accomplished that separation with no blood loss whatsoever. There was no like, oh, how could you be so mean? You saying you don't want to be with me anymore? No, it wasn't about that. It was just simply recognizing we have a different modus operandi, we have different issues, we want to handle it in separate ways. Ta-da! Sounds pretty reasonable when you're grown folk, but not when you're these dudes. And so, with all of this White House shenanigans, that, as I was saying at the beginning, is just par for the course, has always been pages, anybody? Who get taken advantage of. They only leak the information they know they need to leak in order to sway public opinion one way or another. Just like, oh, it just went through, oh, the Supreme Court with the versus Wade decision that they were going to reverse. That came and went real quick, and all the protests over that because it was an orchestrated leak from the inside, just like 9/11. That's an inside job, right? And so this one here, how strategic. The US, Biden has it just said, okay, drop those depleted uranium rounds. I showed the pictures in the share that I put on adult of depleted uranium babies. Google it. The photos are still there, unless you have a sensitive disposition. Then don't Google it because it's horrifying what these radioactive shells do. They're encased in uranium, depleted uranium, which is not depleted. It's actually so far as I've seen, the longest living radioactive isotope out there. It lasts a full life of 450 billion years. 450 billion years before it fully degrades, by theory, into another radioactive isotope. I think it turns into plutonium, but don't quote me on that one. I just know it degrades into something else. Could be americium, still radioactive, right? But it's so dense that it makes these bullets and shell casings and tanks. They have depleted uranium tanks. And there's mountains of this stuff. It's waste from enriching uranium ore. They can't use it because it's just too dense to use in a nuclear reactor itself to power the chain reaction fissioning process, the criticality. Okay. So they have nothing to do with it. And they're like, well, what can we use it for? Oh, we could kill people with it. But unfortunately, when it atomizes into dust and it's breathed in or it just is scattered on the crops, people eat it. And it causes horrifying deformities. Absolutely some of the most ghoulish deformities. And they know this. They know this. Ain't no lie about it. But I think even behind this one here with the uranium rounds going to the Ukraine, there's even more duplicity on their part because it's in the Ukraine that you'll find Chernobyl. So they started going in from everything that I read about what went on in Chernobyl when it first popped off and up to 20 years after that. Oh my God, what a desperate control attack it was. Because at that point in time, when Chernobyl first popped off, the Soviet Union was still acting kind of independently. I'm not saying it was good. What I'm saying, they actually have folks there who weren't like full on Satanists like you have in the US. Ain't nothing but controlled by Satanists, pretty much. Well, they're really the employees of the elites, but the Soviet Union was in control of the Ukraine, of Belarus, I think, at more point, but still, it's all connected, right? And the International Atomic Energy Agency sent in derivatives of the World Health Organization to take over all the truth that was coming out about how horrifying Chernobyl is. So I think these depleted uranium shells are there to mask the signature of the fact that Chernobyl is uncontrollable. They put a brand new steel sarcophagus over it, but that ain't gonna cut it. And also the die off from the original blast from Chernobyl. That's Yuri Bandashevsky determined through Russian documentation. 1 million people died. They ain't stopped dying. They just killed in Ireland 200,000 cows and they blamed it on some contagion. That's BS. That's one of the regions where they shut down the farms because Chernobyl radiation came over. They shut down farms in Switzerland, even. And that cloud of radiation went all over Europe. And it's never really stopped. They tamped down the spread because of the original concrete sarcophagus. But Chernobyl's still fidgeting. And so the US went in, like, after they got all the different truth tellers jailed or, just shut up, bribed, run out of their houses. They did all sorts of things. And the residents, they just told them, shut up. Just you're stressed out. That's why you got cancer. That's why you got all the same things you see people dying over that they want to blame on the Jabberwocky thing. You get stuck in your vein. All the same deaths and symptoms. They just came up with another way to explain the death from radiation over here. Over here. And so the signature of radiation from Chernobyl, because you could tell if it comes from a nuclear power plant accident or it comes from something else, because there'll be a different level of criticality that will release different isotopes. And certain nuclear reactors will produce certain isotopes at a level that makes it easy to identify the source. And so the United States went in funding the Nazis. Funding the Nazis. What? That's what I'm saying. When it comes to the devil, it's not about truth unless he could use truth as a tool, as a weapon. But once he can no longer use the truth to fool everybody that the United States is the greatest country ever, then he has to resort to the lunacy that we see right now. And so they went in with Obama funding the Nazis. They couldn't have gotten away with it with a white guy up in the White House. Right? Just like re-entering Africa. They got that done through AFRICOM under Obama, who was related to the Rothschilds. Friggin' operative. I don't think that he was, there was some people who were saying he was Petri dish baby. So all kinds of crazy things. Doesn't matter. He grew up around a bunch of white people, right? He's biracial, so he ain't black. So they used him to do all sorts of things that otherwise they wouldn't have gotten away with as easily, because not everybody is an operative. Not everybody is an agent. Even though they have an army of agents, I would assess larger than all the military forces combined, including NASA, which ain't nothing but another leg of the military force. They lie so damn much. Okay? So that set up the bad guy, good guy scenario in the Ukraine, so that Russia, which is on board for all these nations, are on the same team, batting for the satanic elites, right? And so they got two bad guys, and because they make for the right wing folks out there, the white folks out there, they're making Putin almost seem like he's a real decent guy. But then they have this friggin' conflict, emotional inner conflict where they're like, wait a minute, no, but they're communists. Oh, but no, they're against the woke agenda. And what do? We don't, and then they start getting all suicidal. I can't help them and I don't want to help them. But I'm just saying, they will refuse to recognize that there's something in their history and their nature that's just way off with the Most High, right? So you got these factions fighting, And that way, they could do this with the uranium, the depleted uranium, which will just leave a huge radiological signature all over the place. And so, as the latency period of radiation just steps up, there's going to be so many massive quantities of people just dying. There already are. But I'm just saying, this way they could hide the origin, just like with the Canadian fires, which turned the New York skies orange. I'm like, damn, does anybody see the pattern with that? Now they're trying to say, oh, they were doing that to hide the UFOs up in the sky. Stop it. Stop it. Right? You had, I forget what the name of the political guy was who was saying, "Oh, I went on an alien ship and I had a conversation with them and they said that they wanted to work with us." That's like, why would they want to work with the devil? What aliens would be capable of traversing the galaxies, be that daggone smart, and then stupid enough to try to collaborate with the most treacherous, despicable people probably in the whole universe? I'm just saying, okay? It's about principalities. If you're an individual white person and you think you could do better, good for you. Go do better, but please do better and separate. All right. Now, so they got all this UFO stuff going on, and I'm just looking, I'm like, really? They talk about everything, but they never ever mention radiation. I don't know how many times I've shown the Maris map from the International Atomic Energy Agency that shows how much radiation is in our waters, and these dudes never mention it. And they hid this. They hid this about the depleted uranium. So let me get off of here so I could play something from the dude who let's see now. Oh yeah, hide. No, stop sharing. Okay. I could play something from the dude who actually has the nerve to say, well, you'll hear what he has to say. Let me start it up. Hold on.
Trans, it was not. All you're doing is affirming that I am a woman. All you're doing is saying that trans women are women because for some reason people like to sexualize women's bodies and say that they are inappropriate. My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy, and I wanted to join them. Conservatives are trying to use the video of me topless at the White House to try to call the community groomers, etc. And I would just like to say that, first of all, going topless in Washington, D.C. is legal. And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple because why is my chest now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off? However, before coming out as trans, it was not. All your
Okay. I hope that wasn't too loud. I hope you heard that. Let me come on over to here and see if, oh, and say peace. Oh, it's good to see you, family. It really is. Let's say greetings again to Sister Drea Lay and greetings to Sister Gwen V and to Brother Adam Guidry. It's good to see you, King. And I think that's about it because I ain't announced anything. I just was like, I need to talk. I need to talk. I should be able to get off of here real soon. So, anyway, so the dude was saying, and now I could share the screen again and I just share his just without the hormone therapy stuff. It ain't therapy, it's just friggin' chemical castration and chemical delusion. Without all of that sort of stuff all pumped up in him, he'd be just as manly as all the rest of them. And especially also, I don't know, yeah, he got makeup on. Yeah. So he's saying that why in his very male voice. It's like, what? No. Um, why when before I had the surgery, it was okay for me to walk around without a shirt on, but now that I have the surgery, it's not okay. So that just goes to show I am a woman because now I am being treated unfairly when it should all be equal. See, this is why this is a man. This is a man who does not have the hormonal instruction that a woman has from gestation, where you know there is a outcome for you acting like a slut, acting like there's no consequences to your behavior in life, when you know, even prostitutes know there's consequences for their actions. They do their best to minimize, through pregnancy. Oh, excuse me, I haven't talked in a while. Through birth control, not to endure those consequences, but oftentimes they still get the other types of consequences, such as being attacked, physically abused by men. And these biological males are beating the crap, literally often, especially if it's wrestling, of biological women. If they wanted to practice that whole thing of, well, I'm really a lesbian, so that I just, I'm like a man, but I feel like a woman, and that way they could be more predatorial towards women by pretending they're women, um, then they could force themselves on women. When they go to a woman's prison, how many of these dudes wind up raping the female prisoners and getting away with it because they're physically stronger? You can't stop that. You can't give puberty blockers quick enough to stop that. And that would be full on out child abuse. How in the world can you determine just on sight, oh no, that's meant to be a boy? Well, these dudes are so out of their damn minds. They even, ooh, I have this article over here. Is it? No, yeah. Oh, it should be over here. Yeah, right there. Let's see, which one is it? Nope, it's not that one. This one right here. California bill would punish parents for misgendering children. What the hell? They really are trying to get away with this crap. Right? And so that's where that dude is a dude, because men do not have those consequences. They're not part of their physiological makeup. It's not hardwired in their brain. I look at Dr. Z, I even look at my son, and like, they could go outside. I mean, it could be dangerous for a man too, but they could go outside in the middle of the friggin' night. They could go look at the stars 2 in the morning. They don't have to wake me up and say, "Will you protect me, queen?" Right? They just go. I know better. I ain't stupid. I can't go walking out there and just, I'm just going to look at the stars at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so that's their considerations. How can you? I mean, that's every single minute of every single day of a child's comprehension, that there are things they can do and get away with so they don't even have to think about it. But when you're a woman and you walking around with your boobs all out in the open like it's no big friggin' deal, I'm sorry. The Most High has the final say on all these things, because you'll see homosexual couples and one who wasn't meant to be the opposite sex will suddenly take on the aura of the opposite sex because they are behaving in the manner which is not prescribed for them. And so those hormones are going to just start effusing through their body and make them take on the characteristics of the sex that they're still never going to adequately imitate, no matter how much they may delude themselves, because the society has made getting along with the opposite sex as your natural sex seem just like such a friggin', what do they call that when you get the, IQ tests and you go the Mensa, like a Mensa qualification. And a lot of people are just, they don't want to fight like that. And they don't want to have to figure out just how to submit to the one and only. That's your best chance for securing a loving, stable relationship. That's your best chance because his map, woo, just centuries long. It's the way to go. It's the way to go where you de-emphasize the sexuality. Whereas these dudes, it's a bunch of men. It's a bunch of men hanging around a bunch of men. They will be as sexual as they just want to be because there's no consequences. So this dude is up here saying, no, I'm a woman because you won't let me flash. No, you got these jiggly things up on your chest that even though you are behaving and responding to that as if being a woman means that you should be able to walk around like that all the time, it's still jiggly. There are just cells in a man's eyes that respond to movement point on blank. And that's not in a woman's eyes because it's not necessary. We will judge potential partners from a whole different mindset that these dudes don't have. They don't have any fear like that. Right? And I'm not saying that, just because you're a woman, that's all that motivates us is fear. It's also that hero. We love that hero too. We just don't want to get with the psychopath who may come across as a hero. Okay? So for the women too, the best way to find a righteous mate, bow down to the Most High. Don't listen to these dudes who are running the fashion industry and all of the media that are trying to convince women to just like do one more booty shot. That reminds me of something else I got to share where also brother unmute me 2.0. I love this brother. He also shared this, and I'm just going to show this for a second. It's like a Jamaican festival, but I think it is in Jamaica. And here's this white couple just being so insulting. Okay. They're at this crowd, and let me see if I could get it to, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll stop sharing because I want to show just how black this crowd is. And they're up there twerking and grinding. There we go. That's what I do right there. And then I could go over here and get to the next portion and reshare again. Okay. Let's see. Hey, hold on. I want to catch it right at the right moment. Okay, that's almost the right moment, but it's good enough to get the point across. Let's see, present, share screen, and there we go. Okay, and oops, I didn't hit share. I hope I hit share before. Here it goes, and they're just twerking it up at a crowd. Nobody else is twerking, and it's all black, right? It's all black. And people are looking, saying, what the hell? What the hell? Now, this outfit, all wrong, way too low. Stop the, bottom boob thing, side boob thing. That's what they want. And they need us to jump on board for all of this nonsense so we could be the face of the new Weimar Republic, Berlin, Sin City, Germany, because that's how they brought Hitler to power. And are they ever vying to bring somebody who is unapologetically savage, barbaric? They want to bring back the Roman Colosseum. They want to bring back Rome and Greece and all the wild nonsense that comes from them directly. But have black us do it because we are the chosen people. And they would love to shove us in the Most High's face. And so they have a lot of us fooled. They have a lot of us operating on very carnal instincts. I had a brother over the meme that I posted about sex. It needs to be talked about, but I meant it in a way of monogamous sex, not, and I love the brother. And I don't mean, actually was another brother on Instagram who shared the meme and admitted that he's addicted to sex. That is such a ferocious addiction. That's homosexuality, right? Where it literally become that serpentine fire. It is lighting up every single just gland. I forget what they call it because I'm not thinking along that line right now. But all of those colors, it lights them all up. And you become addicted. That's what I understand the satanic elite do to their own children. They sexually abuse them, so they recruit them with that sexual energy, so they're more like slaves. They're more like robots than they are thinking human beings. That's what happens when you have children who were abused by pedophiles grow up to become pedophiles. They don't know how to break that addiction that gets started. It's disgusting. It's horrifying, right? But when you know you're doing wrong, you know it, and you just stop. You don't keep it going. Ain't no excuse. Okay? So this is that is another way that they're just trying to get us to just go along with all the stuff they're doing. Let me see what else I got up here so I could. Oh yeah, I'm glad I did check. Let's see what's over here. San Fran. Oh, that's just about the exodus. That's the radiation that I said when Fukushima popped off, maybe about 5 years later, get off the West Coast. And I knew I was like, how are all these companies going to get off? They just did all of that on purpose. So they're all leaving now. All these companies are leaving. You mean to tell me they can't control the homeless population? They took over the entire United States of America, all the continents, wiped whole people out. And they can't get a couple junkies off the street. No, it's on purpose. And they're going to do the same thing to New York because they want to spread the carnage so that you don't know how much of an aberration Fukushima fallout was, so that even a housewife could figure out, wait a minute, that's a little bit different there. Long enough for me to do the research, get the literature so that I could study that this is what their man-made isolated radiation has always done. And they just keep it an amazingly well-kept secret. So they got the statues up there. They even got soldiers in the Ukraine putting their fingers up to their lips going, shh, 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 shh. I mean, these people are freaking creepy. They're creepy. They're losing it. They've lost, but they just hope that you don't take me seriously and get the warning out. Buy the soap, buy the book, Furnace of Affliction. Oh my goodness. On 25,000yearcycle.org. You need that book. I'm not kidding. With the orange skies over on the East Coast, whoo, had me worried too. But I know what to do. And it's in the book. It's in the book. Right? There's specific things that need to be done. And I'm not joking. Ain't no daggone gimmick. Were those orange skies a gimmick? I surely didn't start those Canadian fires, right? So let's see. The other one is this one. New Jersey schools report I've never even heard this percentage level. 4,200% increase in non-binary students in 4 years. Children are so vulnerable to the programming that they put out there. That's why you got to separate, right? That's why you got to expose what they're doing, so that enough of us no longer can say, well, who's she? You don't even mention me. I've always said, don't even mention me. Just share my data like it's your own. Oh, by the way, I found this book, The Crime of Chernobyl. Did you know this? Right? Oh my goodness, I found this book called The Radium Girls, where they were the dial painters. And do you know that the Radium Girls, I meant to do this too. I haven't done it, to find out what the half-life of radium is. So let's see now. Half-life of radium was 226, and it goes right on over to the Radium Girls. Let's see. 1,600 years. Do you know that means that inside their coffins, their bones are still glowing? Because radium glows. It glowed on the watches that they were painting, and they were told to lick the brush. How little bit of radium they were taking in every single day, but it was enough to cause them horrific collapses in their bone structure, just crumbled away. And because if you don't have your bones there, there's nothing to support your capillaries and your arteries and your veins, nothing to support them. So their blood vessels would explode, rip apart inside their flesh. The doctors would try to staunch the flow, but they couldn't do it. That was just from licking a damn brush, painting some teeny tiny little figures on a watch dial. And their bones are still glowing in their coffins as I'm speaking, and you are listening. You can't make stuff like this up. I wish I could, but I ain't got that good an imagination. Okay? So I'm just saying, these are devils. They're devils. They're devils. They know what this stuff does, and they're feeding it to us. Right? So let's see what else I got. Oh, let's see. What was this? Like afraid. Okay, I did that. And okay. All right. I have just one more picture to show. Let's see now. Downloads. Where are you? There. That's where I could go. I got it about a week ago. Wait until it all loads up there. Because white folks are starting to notice that something's different. And I just want to highlight that because I don't want us thinking in the what is it? Let's see. Pessimistic fashion that they are praying like, oh, there it is right there. Praying like the Dickens that we all will just get stuck in. They want to blame the vaccines, but as I've said, it's the vaccines. And please tell me why all the creatures in the oceans that the IAEA showed are slathered with radiation, why are they dying too in epic numbers? And how come it started on the Pacific coastlines? They ain't getting no vaccine, all right? And so all these all white people, cancer, they're gonna blame all that stuff, that all the cancers are gonna blame it on that. I even saw an article, was it in Zero Hedge, where they were trying to say that HPV was causing throat cancer in middle-aged adults. They were doing oral sex. That's why I said the whales must be dying from oral sex. And they never mention the radiation. I know Zero Hedge is a nuclear shill site. That I know because their articles are monotonously pro-nuclear. That makes no damn sense if you even do a moderate level of radiation. Ain't nobody but a nuclear shill going to support nuclear because it's so damn stupid. Right? Even Einstein knew that. He's like, that's a hell of a dumb way to boil some water. I don't know if he said dumb, but close enough. Right? And so what you going to say HPV doesn't even cause HPV. I'm just saying uterine cancer, but now all of a sudden it's causing throat cancer. Okay? Stop. All right, I think I said all I need to say. Let me say goodbye. And I'll be back hopefully in like another couple days or whatever, because I enjoy myself just relaxing. They're throwing the distractions out so fast and furious that it's too much. It's just ridiculous. So let me see what you're saying, family. Actually, let me come on over to my channel, and then I like the way that lineup is better. Oh, wait, I gotta go to the home. That's what I gotta go. Oh, it was right there. Okay. And there we go. Oops, turn the volume down. That's gonna be loud when I start that. Okay, no, thank you. And there we go. All right. And that's all I want. I don't know why I went through all of that. Let's see. Pop out and make it larger. And brother Adam, the lies these devils propagate is more and more ridiculous. Ain't that? I mean, grown folk lying like this. That's just pitiful. That's pitiful. And I just love the fact that just stopping them in their tracks is so fully in our power. We do not have to feel overwhelmed by these devils anymore. Not unless we want to, right? I know I don't. I'm done. Ain't nothing they got to offer that I would prefer living in a little hut next to a river and working it out from there and not have to worry about them and their hellishness another second. Okay? Because I know I will work it out. I'd work it out real big time. If anything that I feel like, oh, I miss the comforts of electricity, I will figure it out. Get me a little millstone and a water wheel in the river, and I will be generating a turbine to spin me some electrical. Okay, that's all I'm saying is nothing we need from these people anymore. Not a damn thing. And I'm tired of their lunacy. It's just off the charts. And so let's see what you're saying, Dre, Sister Dre. They have lost. The scripts already state exactly. The Most High, He ain't losing. It's already all written down. We are watching them fall. Oh, look at that! I like how they had that with new bubbles things. I like that. I wonder how I could figure out. Let's see. I'm just going to see if I could post a comment right here. Pin message. I think I could do that. Will that work? Oh, yes, it does. Yay! I can't, but that's so nice. I did that because I see Sister Lashi doing that. I always think that that's wonderful. And I can see the bubbles. That's so cute. Oops. Oh, there goes my, oh, dear Sister Joyce. Good to see you, Queen. Okay. Let me turn that down or put that over here so it doesn't interrupt. And let's see what else is. Let's see. Not every single one of them, white people, is out of their skulls. That's true. But their nation is beyond help. Exactly. Exactly. As I don't want to become like them where I have to just generalize. And I'm not saying all of them are like that, but where I'm just going to whole scale generalize just because I want to separate from them. It is imperative. The whole lesson is about submission, and the submission means keeping your sanity. The submission is accepting the truth, even if the truth means that John Hanson wasn't the first black president. They have the photo of John Hanson, and people put out there that no, he was actually a white dude. He was just known as Black Irish. And the photo they show of another John Hanson, there was no photography back during the Revolutionary War era. Okay. So that was a truth that I said to myself, I'm going to love us. So some things I'm going to be like, okay, all right, black people, they feel this way. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just gonna let it ride, right? But that one, I was like, no, 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 no. We don't need. Why do we need to be president over hell? That's not an accomplishment. That's a failure. All right, that's like Crispus Attucks. That's just a failure. So I think let's see anybody else coming on in. All right, I think I said all that I need to say. Let's see what you're saying, Sister Gwenby. I would take our land over reparations any day. Exactly, separation. The reparations is a bribe. Why do you how many people have moved out to the West Coast when it's obvious it is a radioactive graveyard over the reparations? The folks don't know. They can use that as another means of control. Because what are we going? Is the reparations going to stop white cops who were bred in the Midwest to want to kill people and realize, well, I could become a cop because I'm too dumb to become a nuclear physicist, right? and then they're going to still be coming into our Black communities. Right? And we keep moving into the white communities. And I forget who was the beautiful sister who told me about another sister who was shot. She didn't die, thank goodness, but by her racist white neighbor. Why are you living right next door to a white person if you can help it? I know sometimes, like, I see some pale folks showing up around here, and moving is not always easy, but I look at them and I'm just, oh Lord. Soon as they show up, there goes the neighborhood, right? But at the same time, it's like, if we hear him shouting in the middle of the night, like, you and you this, you whatever, then we know we gotta keep an armed guard on the side of the house that's next to them, or that we really, really have to move or something or other. I'm just saying, separate. That's the answer. That's the solution. Okay, so I'm gonna get on out of here. I love you, family. Thank you, everybody who's come on through. And if you're listening, thank you. Later on, thank you for your comments. I love your comments. I read everybody's comments because I learned so much from you. We are a family. We are a nation. Ain't about one particular person. That era is over. We are all operating as the most in tune with the one and only. He's the one and only, and we are all his servants. And that's the only way we're going to get out of this hell. Okay? All right. Peace and blessings go to 25,000yearcycle.org. That soap is the bomb diggity. That's what I'm going to be making over the next couple days. Oh, I meant to say that. I'm going to be making more Nzinga, more Silbar, and I'm going to be making my new Nzinga hair butter soap or shampoo, shampoo butter. That's what I'm going to call it. That I use just the soap with the flowers in it. My hair is still like, I used it maybe about a week and a half ago. My hair is still utterly soft. I curled it again, and my curls are just like, whoa. I went out running for 2 weeks, having washed with the soap, with the Nzinga, and my hair, the curls stayed for like 6 days of sweating. I couldn't believe it. Stuff is so amazing, so healing. You got to look up what calendula oil does for your hair, rosemary does for your hair and your scalp, what orange oil does, what lemongrass does. These are all things I put in there. This stuff is the bomb, and it's completely safe for babies, including the soap with the flowers in it. It's complete. I look it up because I'm going to check on our parts. I'm not going to just put something in there and it isn't going to be 100% beneficial. Okay, so that will be there. And I figured out a shelf stable Silbar or Sil Care cream. I had to change something about the lavender and the what is it, that not guar gum, I forgot what it is that I use in order to make sure I can thicken the colloidal silver so that I put it in the silk hair. And it has the orange oil and the lemongrass in there, and so I made a shelf stable one, and we are going to be giving out, with anything you buy off of 25,000yearcycle.org, a free sample jar. It's going to be a little, I think, like 2-ounce jar, but you're going to understand what I mean. That's silk hair. I have to make that even if I'm not selling it to anybody, because it is so moisturizing to the skin. And because it has the colloidal silver in there, it just, it's not like when you put on regular butters and they're extra greasy. It actually just has a wonderful, like, it has that sheen to it, but at the same time, it just penetrates, and it's soothing, it's moisturizing, it's antibacterial, and it's just amazing stuff. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Ooh, it's my brother who hangs the toilet tissue the wrong way. I love you, brother. What you saying? Now I have to catch the replay so you get. Oh, thank you, brother. I told everybody what you sent me with them people with the friggin' what is it? The selling the body parts and oh, creep toys, serious creep toys. All right. I love you, family. I'll see you in a bunch of days. Orange. Yes, the orange oil. Oh, the Nzinga. I love that. And I love the Silbar. And I love the new black soap. All of it. Everything I do, I research. I can't say that's what it does, but when you look up the ingredients, I put the best in there. So what those ingredients do, I can't say it, but all right, all right. I love you, peace, beloved. El Sheba Sekhmet, how you doing, beloved? Let's see. Everyone have a great evening. Exactly. Thank you, brother. Last one out the door. Cut off the lights. Let me get on out of here. I never do this the right way. I don't know if there is the right way. I don't think there is the right way. I'm just doing what needs to be done. Love you, family. Straight, black family, pride, and we are free.